Alright, good buddy. We are to start our day 4 of stream. Now we're gonna start it out with a little bit of a video tutorial on to create a spawner. Go ahead and state the title. I do need to change that. Go. That is better. Make sure everything updated where it needed to. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and go and get started. So I went ahead and I created a test tutorial, just a creative world. Jump on in there. It's just a flatland world. As you can see, I've created one just to get us started, to give us an idea of what one looks like. This is how you would normally find one. Water in it. And inside, spawner would be sitting. Whoops. Spawner would sit right about where that glass block is. But since you can't get just regular spawners in the survival world, I had to improvise just a little bit. So I used a dispenser that'll shoot up what we need for whatever we're going to spawn here. Then in here there's a water elevator that pushes them up however high you need them to go. Water blocks travel 7 away from the source, 8 blocks total if you count the source block. So you push them all the way over to where you want to drop them. Then you find out how many hearts they have, which you can easily look up on the Minecraft wiki. And then you drop them down. I believe each block equals 1 heart or something of that nature. It does tell you for mobs, each mob how far they need to drop. Skeletons, zombies are right around 20 blocks. So I set this one up also with just regular villagers. They work just the same. Right click and a villager spawns, starts getting up the track. So we see him going up the elevator. The only reason he does that is because all mobs, when they are on water, have the same action as us holding the space bar the entire time. So we can see he's moving pretty quick now. Drops down and he's going to hit the edge here. And he drops down to the bottom. There's 2 ways in which you can kill him. You can go ahead and punch his ankles, or you can I put a little dropper here, and since he is a human creature, you have to use damage potions on him, but if he is undead like a zombie is, or a skeleton, you can use healing potions. You do have to make sure they are splash damage. And then you were to just right click away or towards him, and it will kill them off. So we'll go ahead and get started with our own over here. I just set up the redstone so that it would shoot the dispensa's little egg of our zombie, or in that case our villager. Now we'll go ahead and create a glass floor around the spawner. Sorry, it's still early here, so still getting used to waking up at this time. Let's go ahead and make it day. There we go. Since it was becoming night, so we since we have control of how wide we want to make this, and you can usually control how wide you want to make your spawner in the game, you usually want to go for about 8 blocks away. Reason that is because water does only flow those 8 blocks. So we will go ahead and bring this out a total of 8 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's 8. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. Go out. One more here. And then here we will start making our walls up around spawner. And inside of this one I went ahead and put in skeleton eggs so we can see how it will work with a skeleton. Hey Burge, how are you doing this morning? It's nice to see you here. Welcome to the show. I'm doing the little Minecraft tutorial on how to make an experience grinder. Right now we are just setting up the framework. So we just gotta go all the way, whoops, make sure we land all this. Awesome, thanks for coming right when I started, that is amazing. Not used to having people show up so early. It's great. We want to make this high enough to where, in the more practical sense, mobs will normally spawn, because the spawner you want to have right about on top of this glass block. So we're going to go put a dropper there just so we can show where we would normally want that to sit. So we'll think of that as our spawner, and then we want to make a surround all the way around it. You'd normally want to do this out of dirt or stone, something that you cannot get light through, because that will affect the spawn rate if you have any sort of light coming into your spawner. So you do want to make sure that it is very dark. We'll just continue getting the glass around here. And once we get all the glass surrounded, we'll go ahead and close off the top. Oh, very nice. My cat is keeping an eye on me. She's sitting back behind me on one of these other chairs that I've got in the room. She has a tendency to do that whenever I start streaming, or whenever I'm at the computer in general. Whenever I come down here, she's usually about 2 to 3 minutes behind me. So we will go ahead and make it this tall. We'll get this thing covered up, and then we will start working on the water elevator to lift it up. This is going pretty quick. You won't have to do most of this work in the game, as the spawners are typically already surrounded by the moss cobblestone and regular cobblestone. That's the easiest way to tell where they are. So now that we've got as high as we want, we're going to go ahead and start closing it off. You do want to leave one little hole right here, just so that when you do start making your water elevator, it will get pushed up in that corner. So we will go ahead and make where they're going to get pushed up there. I am from Colorado, United States. I've been homegrown here, and it's been a great place to live. Get all sorts of different weather here. Go ahead and get a roof back on here. Sure, we're either above or below it, so we can actually close that roof off. So this is how the spawner would normally be if it was in the world. Now we're going to go ahead and take our signs, start making our little water elevator. We use signs because water does not flow past signs. You can also do this with lava. Any liquid will not flow past a sign. It's an interesting piece of physics there. You're in England at the moment. That is awesome. I have not been across the pond. Someday it'd be kind of fun to go across the pond, do some sightseeing, but I've not been able to make that trip right yet. Got too much going on down over here to be able to do that. So we can go ahead and take this up as far as we want to. The height of how far these mobs get pulled into the air is not the important part. It is actually how far you make them fall. So let's go ahead and get a quick tower for their elevator going. And once we finish off this tower, we'll probably make it about that high, and we can do the math after we go up there and figure out how far they need to fall, land where we need them to land. So right there is where they'll start moving out. We'll make them just go towards this direction. You want to make sure you get it about too high like that, and put a nice little roof on to where they start moving a bit faster, because they won't be able to jump. The jump bobbing makes them move a bit slower throughout the water here. So let's continue putting in the rest of our signs every 2 spots. There we go, 1 there. We'll fix it at the top if I counted wrong. I did not. Nope, I just forgot a couple of pieces of glass. That's why it didn't make any sense. There we go. So we'll need to ring this. No more. That's actually. Need to bring it up 1 more because we want that right there. And we want the water to go up to the final spot, so we'll bring this up by 1 more. Right there, and we will move them from this height. Going that way, so. Come around like this. We're now too high. And like that. We want it to make sure that the water is the last block that they hit so that they can come across. This will be where they flow out from. We will use that block as our water source. Still need to go 1 more up. I am just counting as I'm trying to get this done pretty quick. So that'll be where they come out from. So we can build just kind of a little water gate here to send them over. Water does flow 7 blocks away from the source, 8 blocks if you count the source, so 1 with the source, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Water will flow that far right up to the edge. Make sure we go ahead and close that side and this side off so that water does not escape over the sides, because the skeletons or your mob will follow the water and where the water is pushing them. So we want them to get pushed right to that edge. So now that they've got, I think that might be 1 too high, we can go ahead and check that out. It will work either way. Let's make sure and put a roof on the head to where the skeletons do not take any damage when the sun is out. These sorts of spawners are great because they will work any time of the day, as long as there is no light in. We'll cover that up, and we will make that just the 2 high so that you assure that he's going to drop from that spot. We'll go down there, and we'll go ahead and climb into the elevator. We're going to make a hole just on this side, just to jump through. We're going to take our water bucket and just kind of make sure that we get all the water we need going up. Okay, there it is. I got a little too much water. We'll clear that out real quick. And that's why it starts spilling. Let's set it to... You're going to London today? That is awesome. I may or may not be streaming later today. This video I am planning to upload to YouTube as a tutorial, so I would recommend checking it out. I also got I got a highlight up on the stream now of when I completed our dome from yesterday. I do plan on working on that a little bit today. But if I don't have to go into the office and I don't have a whole lot to get done, I probably will be streaming a bit longer. So for this, I'm just going to do a little bit of redstone work to make sure that we can actually simulate our spawners spawning. So we're going to go ahead and head back out. We're going to drop down here so that we can create the redstone signal that we will need for this spawner to be able to actually work, since you can't get an actual spawner in this world since it is only a creative world. We'll grab some redstone, a repeater to extend our signal, and we'll need a button. There's our button. Yeah, definitely tell me about how your trip into London goes. You can either send me a private message here on Twitch, or feel free to send it to me on Twitter. If you need to know where my Twitter information is, it is at the bottom of the streams, but you can easily send me a @ShadowPeon on Twitter to find out or to tell me any information, and I look to respond as soon as I can. So we can show that that does work once it connects up there. I forgot to put in the last piece that we need to get it to that block. That does work. It kicked out the egg, but the egg did not spawn. That's kind of why I used the villagers over there. Now let's make sure I used the right one. So I did that last night. I'm not remembering whether I used a dispenser or a dropper. If you use a dropper that don't work, they just kick out the item as it is. A dispenser usually fires it as if it were shot with the right mouse button. Let's try that again. Good old technical difficulties. So let's move this dropper out of the way. Let's make sure that it is working the way that I want it to. Get that. So that's right, I have it on peaceful, so those mobs won't spawn. We'll have to change it from peaceful real quick in the menu, and that is why they aren't spawning. We'll just toss it to easy real quick. Now if we try this, they should spawn. There it is. There's the skeleton. So the skeleton is spawning. We'll go ahead and kill him off real quick since he's just going to sit there. Now for here, you want to make sure that water flows to this corner. So we go ahead and start feeding in some water. You want to make sure that once it gets to that corner, you can go ahead and hop into this corner and be able to push them all the way over. So since we stopped there, we need to put in another water source, keep us going to that corner. And since mobs hold the space button all the time, they'll sit there and hold it all the way up here. And they'll just hold it until they get pushed off of the edge. And then they'll fall to, hopefully, their death. So they're going to fall right on this block here. We will do that with an actual skeleton to see whether he lives or dies. You do kind of want to test out how far you go if you haven't measured it. You want to make sure it's about 23 blocks for a skeleton or a zombie. You can adjust that whether they're dying too much or not, based on how many die off at the bottom. If too many are dying, it's easier to fix it down here by raising it up one or down one. He's dying because it is sunny out and he does not like the sun, so we'll go ahead and go kill him once. Let's get our glass back real quick. And let's build the tube coming down here. Not usually in creative, so don't play nicely with the controls for creative. We're just going to make a simple tube here, just to bring them down and keep them from instantly dying due to the sunlight. There we go. Bring this all the way down here. And then we can go ahead and make sure that that is the distance they need to fall still survive. So let's go ahead and tap this button again. Again, this kind of replicates what a zombie or skeleton spawner does in the real world. See, he gets pushed into the corner. He's brought all the way up. There we go. Brought up the water elevator. Hits the top. It's pushed on along here. And we'll see him fall down. He's still alive, so that is good. He's taking damage because he's on the ground in the sun. So we will either make it nighttime here, or we'll go ahead and encase this just a little bit on three sides, and we'll make that our hopper that we'll want, because the best way to make sure that you get the items that you are looking for is to do it into a hopper like that. That goes into a chest. Grab the chest, put that there. Make sure the hopper is facing down. I usually do a double chest like so. And then instead of those, I grab a half slab. You can do it of whatever you like. We're going to go ahead and use quartz in this case. You put the quartz slab around the spawner so that once they fall, they're not able to shoot you. And then to balance out the height, I'd usually take out the floor just below it and do the slabs there. Excuse me there, slime. I'm trying to get something done and you're just bothering me. Trying to be on camera. We'll do a little bit of a platform so that we can come in here. And then we're going to grab a dropper. Place the dropper there. We want to fill the dropper with potions that we've created. In this case, we want splash potions of healing. You can decide which one you want to use. Typically, just a regular splash potion of healing is perfectly fine because they are not falling that far. So we'll go ahead and drop out a few more. That way we can put about 9 of them or so in the hopper, or in the dropper, since the dropper holds that many. There we go. Put that there. We still have a button, so we put a button on the front of the dropper so that you hit that and it drops right into your inventory. And now we'll go ahead and simulate with a few different, or a few skeletons. I'm going to go ahead and set the time to night. Possibly. I've just set it to noon. Oh, I hate setting time. Let's try that. It looks like the sun's either coming up or going down. Either case, let's get a few of these guys in here. I think they're still affected by the fact that the sun is out, so let's fiddle with this a little bit.
What's going on, everyone? This is FamilyJewel7X. I just wanted to make a quick video to thank you guys so much for helping me reach 75,000 subscribers.
So as they drop, of course they fall onto the hopper. You can either sit there and punch them in the ankles like that, and the majority of their stuff falls into the hopper that feeds into the chest. If you want to make it better on how much stuff falls, you just put in more hoppers that are connected to that hopper, and then they'll feed into the chest easier. All of our skeletons have come down there. And then once all of them land and they're not burning, go ahead and just throw a potion right towards their legs, and then they die. So that's what you would do if you had a spawner in the real world that was way below ground, that you wanted to make sure you could still stand between and continue to have spawns, because with this one you can spawn right about here. If you find one that's up around normal height in the world, around 65 to 70, that's where you'd want to just go ahead and instead of creating this water elevator, you push them right to the corner, so you maybe extend it out on the sides, and when you push them out, then you just push them into this corner, you drop a hole and drop them 23 blocks from there. So there you'll have to make sure you're standing somewhere in the middle, but it's ideally the same exact setup as what we have right here. You just drop them onto a hopper, and then you can go and throw your potion or smack them in the ankles until they're dead, all depending on whether you have your brewing station set up or not. I think that's about all that we have for this spawner. I'm going to go ahead and restart the stream back in the regular world, and we will go ahead and upload this video to YouTube. Please give the channel a follow and give the YouTube video some likes and subscribe to the channel, and we will continue this in a minute. Thank you.